The thing we're concerned about is the transmission from person to person to person.
Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low. When you talk about mortality rates, I think it's the opposite. I think we have one of the lowest mortality rates in the world.
You can check it out.
Please get me the mortality rate.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
Creeps in this petty pace from day to day.
To the last syllable of recorded time.
And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death.
The way to dusty death.
The way to dusty death.
Out.
Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow.
Poor player that struts and
Frets his hour upon the stage.
And then is heard no more.
It is a tale,
Told by an idiot.
full of sound and fury,
Signifying nothing.
signifying nothing.
Signifying nothing.
Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. The genius and the mortal instruments are then in council, and the state of a man, like to a little kingdom, suffers then the nature of an insurrection.
What, shall we stab him as he sleeps?
no. And he will say 'twas done cowardly when he wakes.
He wakes, why fool, he shall never wake till the judgment day.
Why, then he will
The urging of this word judgment hath bred a kind of remorse in me.
What? Art thou afraid?
Not to kill him, having a warrant for it, but to be damned for killing him, from which no warrant can defend us.
I thought thou hadst been resolute.
So I am, to let him live.
Back to the Duke of Gloucester, tell him
I
so.
pray thee stay a while. I hope my holy humor will change. 'Twas wont to hold me, but well, one would tell 20.
How dost thou feel thyself now?
Faith, some certain dregs of conscience are yet within me.
Remember, our reward when the deed is done.
Soon he dies. I had forgot the reward.
Where is thy conscience now?
Duke of Gloucester's purse.
So, when he opens his purse to give us our reward, thy conscience flies out.
Let it go. There's few or none will entertain it.
How if it come to thee again?
I'll not meddle with it. It is a dangerous thing. It makes a man a coward. A man cannot steal, but it accuseth him. He cannot swear, but it checks him. He cannot lie with his neighbor's wife, but it detects him. It is a blushing, shameful spirit that mutinies in a man's bosom. It fills one full of obstacles. It made me once restore a purse full of gold I had found. It beggars any man that keeps it. It is run out of all cities and towns for a dangerous thing, and any man who means to live well endeavors to trust himself and to live without it.
It is even now at my elbow, persuading me not to kill the Duke.
Take the devil in thy mind and relieve him not. You insinuate with thee but to make thee sigh.
Tut! I am strong, friend. He cannot prevail with me, I warrant thee.
Spoke like a tale fellow who respects his reputation. Come, shall we to this gear?
Take him over the costard with the hilts of thy sword, and then we will chop him in the mumsy butt in the next room.
Excellent device, make a sop of him.
Hark, he stirs. Shall I strike?
"'Tis much when scepters are in children's hands, but more when envy breeds unkind division. There comes the rain. There begins confusion."
Thou nature art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me for that I'm some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? My dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us with base? With baseness, bastardy base. Base. Who in the lusty stealth of nature take more fierce quality and composition than doth within a dole stale tire at bed go to the creating all tribe of fops? Got twain asleep and wake. Well, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word. Legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base will top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now God stand up for bastards.
Oh, beware of my lord of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. That cuckold lives in bliss, who certain of his fate loves not his wronger, but oh, what damned minutes tells he o'er, who dotes, yet doubts, suspects, yet soundly loves.
Glum as thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature, it is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What wouldst thou highly, that wouldst thou holily, and wouldst not play false. And yet, wouldst wrongly win. Thou wouldst have great glums, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it. And that which rather thou dost fear to do? No. Then wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits into thine ear, and chastise the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, to which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal.
Foul devil, for God's sake hence, and trouble us not. For thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold, this pattern of thy butcheries. Oh, gentlemen, see dead Henry's wounds. Open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. Blush, blush, thou lump of foul deformity. For 'tis thy presence that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge most unnatural. O God, which this blood makes, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drinks, revenge his death. Either heaven with lightning strike the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick, as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which his hell-governed arm hath butchered.
Lady, you know no rules of charity which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowst not law of God nor man, no beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful, when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman of these supposed crimes, to give me leave by circumstance, but to acquit myself.
Diffused infection of a man of these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy curse itself.
Fairer than tongue can name thee. Let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself.
Fouler than heart can think thee. Thou canst make no excuse currents, but to hang thyself.
By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shalt thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself, that didst unworthy slaughter upon others.
I did not kill your husband. He, that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
The self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here. Why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison from a fouler toad. Out of my sight, thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
They bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
Though I wish thy death, I will not be the executioner.
But shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Was ever woman in this humor wooed? Was ever woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What? I, that killed her husband and his father to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, and the bleeding witness of my hatred by, having God, her conscience, and these bars against me, and I, no friends to back my suit at all, but the plain devil in dissembling looks, and yet to win her all the world to nothing. Ha! Hath she forgot already that brave Prince Edward, her lord, whom I some 3 months since stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? Sweeter and lovelier gentleman, framed in the prodigality of nature, young, valiant, and no doubt right royal, the spacious world cannot again afford. And will she yet abase her eyes on me, that cropped the golden prime of this sweet prince and made her widow to a woeful bed? On me, whose all not equals Edward's moiety? On me, that halts and am misshapen thus? My dukedom to a beggarly denier, I do mistake myself all this while. Upon my life, she finds, although I cannot myself, to be a marvelous proper man. I'll be at charges for a looking glass and entertain a score or two of tailors to study fashions to adorn my body. And since I am crept in favor with myself, I will maintain it with some little cost. But first, I'll turn yon fellow in his grave, and then return lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass.
Give ear, sir, to my sister, for those that mingle reason with your passion must be content to think you old. And so, but she knows what she does.
Is this well spoken?
I dare avouch it, sir. What, 50 followers? Is it not well? What should you need of so many, yea, or more, sith both charge and danger speak against so great a number? How in one house should so many under two command hold amity? 'Tis hard, almost impossible.
Why not you, my lord, to receive attendance from those which she calls her servants, or from mine?
Why not, my lord? If then they chance to slack you, we could control them. If you come with me, for now I spy a danger, I do entreat you bring but 5 and 20. To no more will I give place or notice.
I gave you all.
And the good time you gave it.
Made you my guardians, my depositories. But kept the reservation we followed with such a number? What must I come to you with 5 and 20, Reagan? Said you so?
And speak it again, my lord. No more with me.
Those wicked creatures do look well favored when others are more wicked. Not being the worst stands in some rank of praise. I'll go with thee. Thy 50 yet doth double 5 and 20, and thou art twice
Hear
her
me,
love.
my lord. What need you 5 and 20, a 10 or 5? To follow in a house where twice so many have a command to tend you.
What need you 1?
Reason not the need! Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is chiefest beast.
Not all the water in the rough, rude sea can wash the balm off from an anointed king. The breath of worldly men cannot depose the deputy elected by the Lord. For every man that Bolingbroke hath pressed to lift shrewd steel against our golden crown, God for his Richard hath in heavenly pay a glorious angel. Then, if angels fight, weak men must fall. For heaven still guards the right.
We are accounted poor citizens, the patricians good. What authority Sir Feats on would relieve us? If they would yield us but the superfluity, while it were wholesome, we might guess they relieved us humanely. But they think we are too dear. The leanness that afflicts us, the object of our misery, is an inventory to particularize our abundance. Our sufferance is a gain to them. Let us avenge this with their pikes, ere we become rakes. For the gods know I speak this in hunger for bread, not in thirst for revenge.
Would you proceed, especially against Caius Marcius?
Against him first. He is a very dog to the commonality.
Consider you what services he has done for his country.
Very well, and could be content to give him good report for it, but that he pays himself with being proud.
Nay, but speak not maliciously.
I say unto you, what he had done famously, he did it to the end. Though soft-conscious men can say he did it for his country, he did it to please his mother, and to be partly proud, which he still is, even till the altitude of his virtue.
What he cannot help in his nature, you account of vice in him. You must in no way say he is covetous.
If I must not, I not be barren of accusations. He hath faults, with surplus, to tire repetition.
Sin of self-love possesseth all mine eye, and all my soul, and all my every part. And for this sin there is no remedy. It is so grounded inward within my heart. Methinks no face so gracious is as mine, no shape so true, no truth of such account. And for myself, mine own worth do define, as I all other in all worths surmount. But when my glass shows me myself indeed, beaded and chopped with tanned antiquity, my self-love quite contrary I read. Self-love were iniquity. 'Tis thee myself that from myself I praise, painting my age with beauty of thy days.
So we are here. We are here not merely to gather, but to move, right? And our movements require us to do more than just show up and say the right words. It requires us to break out of our comfort zones and be confrontational. It requires us to defend one another when it is difficult and dangerous. It requires us to truly see ourselves and one another.
No more, but even a woman, and commanded by such poor passion as the maid that milks and does the meanest chores. If it were for me to throw my scepter at the injurious gods, and to tell them that the world did equal theirs till they have stolen our jewel. All's but not. Patient is sawdust, and impatient does become a dog that's mad. But then, is it sin to rush into the secret house of death ere death dare come to us? How do you, women? What? Good cheer! Why? How now, Charmaine, my noble girls? Ah, women, look. Our lamp is spent, it's out. Good sir, take heart. We'll bury him in what's brave, what's noble. Let's take after the high Roman fashion and make death proud to take us. Come, away. This case of that huge spirit now is cold. Women, come. We have no friend but resolution and the briefest end.
Come, you are too severe a moraler. As the time, the place, and the condition of this country stands, I could hardly wish this had not befallen, but since it is as it is, mend it, for your own good.
I will ask him for my place again, and he shall tell me I am a drunkard. Had I as many mouths as Hydra, such an answer would stop them all. To be now a sensible man, by and by a fool, and presently a beast. Oh, strange. Every inordinate cup unblessed, and the ingredient is a devil.
Come. Good wine is a good, familiar creature if it be well used. Exclaim no more against it. And, good lieutenant, I think you think I love you.
I have well approved it, sir. I drunk.
You or any man living may be drunk at a time, man. I'll tell you what you shall do. Our general's wife is now the general. I may say so in this respect, for that he hath devoted and given up himself to the contemplation, mark, and denotement of her parts and graces. Confess yourself freely to her. Importune her help to put you back in your place again. She is of so free, so kind, so apt, so blessed a disposition. She holds it a vice in her kindness not to do more than she is requested. This broken joint between you and her husband, entreat her to splinter, and my fortunes against any lay worth naming, this crack of your love shall grow stronger than it was before.
You advise me well.
I protest in the sincerity of love and honest kindness.
I think it freely. And betimes in the morning I will beseech the virtuous Desdemona to undertake for me. I am desperate for my fortunes if they check me here.
You are in the right. Good night, Lieutenant. I must to the watch.
Good night. Honest Iago.
And what's he then that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give and honest, probable to thinking, and indeed the course to win the more again. For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements, and for her to win the more, were it to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin, his soul so infettered to her love that she may make, unmake, do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. How then am I the villain? To counsel Cassio to this parallel course directly to his good? Divinity of hell. When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now. For whilst this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him pleads strongly to the Moor, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear, that she repeals him for her body's lust, and by how much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the more. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all.
The poll? Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden is it? Who was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks. We have to forget about the law. Judges don't count.
Poor naked wretches, wheresoe'er you are, that bide the pelting of this pitiless storm, how shall your houseless heads and unfed sides, your looped and windowed raggedness defend from seasons such as these? Oh, I have ta'en too little care of this. Take physic pomp, expose thyself to feel what wretches feel, that thou mayest shake the superflux to them, and show the heavens more just.
This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation.
I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, malicious, sudden smacking of every sin that has a name, but there's no bottom, none to my voluptuousness. And my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more. That I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each, several crime acting at many ways, nay. Had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. If such a one be fit to go and speak, I am as I have spoken.
If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what's his reason? Hath not we eyes? Hath not we hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong us, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why? Revenge. The villainy you all teach me, I will execute. And it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction.
This cannot be a one-time thing. We cannot continue to allow the people to oppress African-American community. They don't invest in us. They don't show us the resources. You are convincing, not me. I can't talk to your parents. I can't talk to your grandparents. At some point, you gotta be the voice for the black people in your household. And it has to start today. It was 9 minutes. That officer set his knee on George's neck. You think they gave a 3 officers, they still walking the street. Still walking today. It's time for us to put aside all of these things that's going on and to love on each other and to show each other, I won't let you fall and don't let me fall. As long as I got you, you got me. And we gotta stand by that. We gotta stand by that. Put your fist in the air for George. Put your fist in the air for Laquan Machado. Put your fist in the air for African American people.
Not only did we do it, but I did it very early. And that decision has been now given very good grades, like an A+++. I think we're doing a really good job. We're getting very high marks on it. We're getting high poll numbers, believe it or not. We're giving, I think, really given tremendous marks. You look at Gallup poll, you look at other polls for the way we've handled it. We've gotten the highest poll numbers of anybody for this kind of a thing.
I had forgotten myself. Am I not king? Awake, thou proud majesty, thou sleepeth. Is not the king's name 20,000 names? Arm, arm my name, a punished subject strikes at thy great glory. Oh, look not to the ground, ye favorites of a king. But are we not high? High be our thoughts.
We have Monday Night Football type ratings. #1 on Facebook. Did you know I was #1 on Facebook? A lot of people love Trump, right? A lot of people love me. You see him all the time, right? I guess I'm here for a reason, you know? To the best of my knowledge, I won.
No. I will attend her here and woo her with some spirit when she comes. Say that she rail. Why, I'll tell her plain she sings as sweetly as a nightingale. Say that she frown. I'll say she looks as clear as morning roses newly washed with dew. Say she be mute and will not speak a word. Then I'll commend her volubility. say that she uttereth piercing eloquence. If she do bid me pack, I'll give her thanks, as though she bid me stay by her a week. If she deny to wed, I'll crave the day when I shall ask the bands and one be married. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? BBYGRL.
Oh, but I do think it is their husbands' fault if wives do fall. Say they slack their duties, or pour our treasures into foreign laps, or else break out in peevish jealousies, throwing restraints upon us, or say they strike us, or scant our former havings in despite. Why, we have galls, and though we have some graces, we have some revenge. Let husbands know that their wives have senses like them. They see and smell and have palates for both sweet and sour as husbands have. What is it they do when they change us for others? Is it sport? I think it is. And doth affection breed it? I think it doth. And is it frailty that thus errs? It is so too. Then let them know. The ills we do, their ills instruct us so. I am amazed and know not what to say. Send.
Mine eye and heart are at mortal war. How to divide the conquest of thy sight? Mine eye, my heart, thy picture sight would bar. My heart, mine eye, the freedom of that right. My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet never pierced with crystal eyes. But the defendant doth that plea deny, and says in him thy fair appearance lies. To side this title is impaneled, a quest of thoughts, all tenets to the heart, and by their verdict is determined the clear eye's moiety and the dear heart's part. As thus mine eyes do is thy outward part, and my heart's right, thy inward love of heart.
They that have the power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who moving others are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weeds outbraves its dignity. For sweeter things turn sour by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds.
You know I'm totally off script right now. The Green New Deal, right? Darling, is the wind blowing today? I'd like to watch television, darling. Russia, please, if you can, get us Hillary Clinton's emails. Please, Russia, please. He asked Russia to go get the emails. We're going to look into his finance. I said, where did that come from? He always talked about Russia. The Attorney General says, I'm going to recuse myself. And I said, why the hell didn't he tell me that before I put him in? Russia, 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 Russia. I said, you never spoke to anybody from Russia, darling.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you trippingly on the tongue. And if you mouth it as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently, for in the very torrent tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. It offends me to the soul to hear a robustious pair with pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for overdoing termagant, and out Herod's Herod.
This speech should have been delivered 1 year from now, not now, damn it!
Be not detained neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, in the very age and body of the time, his form and pressure. Though this may, overdone, or come tardy off, though make the unskillful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve. The censure of the which one must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theater of others.
Trying to take you out with bullshit, okay? With bullshit.
Putting a national lockdown, stay-at-home orders is like house arrest. Other than slavery, which was a different kind of restraint, this is the greatest intrusion on civil liberties in American history. A person in the white coat is not the grand seer who can come up with the right decision for society. A free people makes its decision through its elected representative.
Aye, that I had not done 1,000 more. Even now I curse the day, and yet I think few come within the compass of my curse, wherein I did not some notorious illness kill a man, or else devise his death, ravish a maid, or plot the way to do it, set deadly enmity between two friends, make poor men's cattle break their necks, set fire on barns and haystacks in the night, and bid the owners quench them with their tears. Oft have I digged up dead men from their graves and set them upright at their dear friends' doors, even when their sorrows almost were forgot. And on their skins, as on the bark of trees, have with my knife carved in Roman letters, "Let not your sorrow die, though I am dead." Tut, I've done 1,000 dreadful things as willingly as one would kill a fly. And nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more.
What do you mean by interfere? Under the law, all prosecutorial power is vested in the Attorney General. And these people are agents of the Attorney General. And as I say to FBI agents, whose agent do you think you are?
Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
That is the way to lay a city flat. To bring the roof to the foundation and bury all which yet distinctly ranges and heaps and piles of ruin.
This deserves death.
Or let us stand to our authority, or let us lose it. We do here pronounce upon the part of the people in whose power we were elected theirs. Martius is worthy of present death.
Therefore lay hold of him, bear him the rock Tarpeian, and from thence into destruction cast him.
Part of what's made me so hopeful is the fact that so many young people have been galvanized and activated and motivated and mobilized. Because historically, so much of the progress that we've made in our society has been because of young people. Dr. King was a young man when he got involved.
When to the sessions of sweet, silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail, my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye, unused to flow, for precious friends, hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell the sad account of forebemoaned moan, which I knew pay as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored, and sorrows end.
My Colleton, is woe the cure for woes? Do wounds help wounds, or grief help grievous deeds? Is it revenge to give thyself a blow for his foul acts by whom thy fair wife bleeds? Such childish humor from weak minds proceeds. Thy wretched wife mistook the matter so to slay herself that should have slain her foe. Courageous Roman, do not steep thy heart in such relenting dew of lamentations, but kneel with me and help to bear thy part in rousing our Roman gods with invocations that they will suffer these abominations. Since Rome herself in them doth stand disgraced, by our strong arms from forth her fair streets chased.
We are not the first, who with best meaning have incurred the worst. For thee, oppressed king, I am cast down. Myself could else outfrown false fortune's frown. Shall we not see these daughters and these sisters?
No. Come, let's away to prison. We two alone will sing like birds of the cage. When thou dost ask me for blessing, I'll kneel down and ask of thee forgiveness. So we'll live and pray and sing and tell tales and laugh at gilded butterflies and hear poor rogues talk of court news. And we'll talk with them too. Who loses and who wins, who's in, who's out, and take upon the mystery of things as if we were God's spies. And we'll wear out in a walled prison, packs and sects of great ones that ebb and flow by the moon.
And now is the time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. It is time to beat up prosecutors you don't like at the voting booth. It is time to hold mayoral offices accountable, chiefs and deputy chiefs.
Now to the scenes we are witnessing across the country. Americans already casting ballots in record numbers. Take a look at this video here in New York City as early in-person voting began yesterday.
Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more. Or close the wall up with our English dead.
In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility.
When the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger.
Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage.
Cry through the portage of the head like a brass cannon. Let the brow o'erwhelm it as fearfully as doth the gallant rock o'erhang and juddy his confounded base.
Swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostrils wide, hold hard the breath, and bend up every spirit to his full height.
On, you noblest English, whose blood is fed from fathers of war proof. Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts, from morn till even, fought and sheathed their swords for lack of argument.
Dishonor not your mothers, now attest that those whom you call fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war.
And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture.
Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not. For there are none of you so mean and base that hath not noble luster in your eyes.
I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot!
Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry God for Harry, England, and St. George.